So, what do you think? Was Derek Chauvin, the person who subdued George Floyd, overly assertive in his restraint of George Floyd? If he was overly assertive, why should he care? What's the moral significance of someone being overly assertive in something? Did the assisting police officers during the arrest and restraint of George Floyd have a duty to check George Floyd's pulse, as bystanders were insisting and pleading? What about the bystanders themselves? If they saw the other police officers and they saw that the police officers were not checking the pulse, but they were telling the police officers they should the bystanders themselves have checked George Floyd's pulse? I mean, is it possible that the bystanders themselves somehow did something wrong? Watching someone die, maybe some would say watching someone kill someone else and not doing anything about it? What about this question? Who are we to blame for the death of George Floyd? Is it Floyd himself or Chauvin? Or are they both at fault in some way? Is it possible that they both did something wrong in terms of law enforcement? How is that question different from asking whether they did something wrong morally? And what about looting and the destroying of businesses? Is it ever morally permissible to do so? If it is ever morally permissible to loot and destroy businesses, under what conditions? If not, why not? If it can be morally permissible to loot and destroy businesses, does it follow that business owners are morally obligated to fully tolerate the destruction and looting of their businesses? And finally, consider this interesting thought experiment. Imagine you're a long-haul truck driver. You have 100 units of the COVID-19 vaccine that must be refrigerated. You are on a freeway and 50 protesters are blocking the freeway. They say that they are not moving until tomorrow, till the next day. You cannot get off the freeway. They are blocking the next exit and they are blocking the exit you just passed. So you can't exit off the freeway. Nor can you cross the freeway to get on the opposite side because there's a median there. So like the HOV lane on I-30 in Dallas, if you're familiar with that area. So you can't cross over to the other side. What's more is that the vaccine is stored in cold ice packs, and these ice packs will not be able to cool the vaccine anymore in about an hour. And all you need is 45 minutes to get the vaccine to the hospital. On top of that, you cannot carry the vaccine because it's too heavy and you just won't be able to get over there. Also in this scenario, no one can come and pick you up. You can't walk with the vaccines because they're in a container that's too heavy. And finally, the vaccines are the only vaccines available. There are 100 allotted to Dallas, and they're heading to a hospital where 100 children with COVID-19 are about to die if they do not get the vaccine. Or I shouldn't say vaccine, let's call it an antidote, okay? Because I realize vaccines and antidotes are different. So let's say you have 100 units of an antidote for coronavirus. Okay, as soon as these children take it, they're going to be cured. But if they don't, they're going to die very soon. What's more is, and like I said, there's no other way. The only way you can get the COVID-19 antidote is by carrying it in your truck, and you have to get it there within an hour. Again, the protesters have said they're not going to move until the next day. So my question is, what would you do? Would you drive through the protesters, or would you just sit there in the truck? And I don't mean just sit there in a derogative sense. And imagine in the scenario that the protesters, they refuse to listen to you. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to listen to anyone else. They have made up their mind. There's no changing their mind. They are going to stay right where they are, blocking the freeway. Let's say there's 50 adult ones. There's no changing their mind. Again, given all of these conditions stated, what would you do? How is what you would do tied to your concepts of rightness or wrongness? Okay, how do your beliefs about what you do, what you would do with respect to this scenario, and how you would answer any of these questions connect to your concepts of rightness and wrongness? In this class, we are going to use your beliefs about some or all of these topics to make your philosophical study of ethics, of right and wrong, relevant and meaningful. In doing so, you will find that the formal study of ethics helps to expose fundamental and powerful assumptions, presuppositions working deep within your moral compass. While a lot of my colleagues do not care to prioritize a student's own beliefs about current events, social problems, what some might label as political problems, much less philosophical or moral ones, I do. So much so that I make your beliefs a starting point for the remainder of the learning that occurs in this course. Accordingly, I have set aside a significant amount of time for you to record some of your beliefs about the killing of George Floyd and related events, beliefs we will revisit in light of what we learned throughout the semester. Now, warning, when it comes to how you express your beliefs, you're going to be doing so using the philosopher's main method, argument. Warning again, while you might feel quite confident about arguments, philosophers have a very special and technical definition for the term that we will be using in this class throughout the semester. There was a little freeze. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I'm back. The task that you are about to engage in now in this bundle includes a video lecture on a very precise definition we will be using to present our beliefs about the killing of George Floyd and the related topics and issues. Additional lessons go over a sample prompt and how you apply the lesson on argument. While the week 2 entry in the course schedule says that you need a minimum of 5 hours, I highly encourage you to set aside right now 7 hours to make sure you can work through all of the written and video-based aspects of the task in this bundle. That is so that you can successfully complete this task according to the high standards I have set for you in virtue of the respective lessons and instructions. While I have not deployed adaptive learning for the task 1 components, that is A through D, it is imperative that you work through each component of the task in the order presented and that you do so in a distraction-free environment, rested, fed, and ready to go. I'm really looking forward to reading your arguments and in doing so, seeing all of the careful attention you show with respect to my lessons on argument and the video-based instructions for the topics to which you will respond.